What's up, guys? Iceman here. So this is a video made by Bowler. Is that how you say? I discovered him when he was making World of Warcraft videos. He still does, I think, on occasion. World of Warcraft Classic is an absolute spiritual journey, so I really enjoyed that. So I'm curious what he has to say in this video titled "The Diablo 4 Devs Are Facing Reality." So let's take a listen.
Okay, here's the deal, everybody. Diablo 4 is actually producing some numbers, and when you look at some of the core players, we're actually seeing people are kind of changing their tune. Thing is, though, I'm not here to gaslight you. Funny enough, that's not the point. I totally know that the Diablo 4 is no longer meh, sort of opinion Venn diagram, can only really expand outward slowly as patches and seasons roll on. The vibes very much for most people are, it's like Diablo 3 plus Loot 2.0, but without Reaper of Souls. You know, the thing that actually brought content and really tried to push the game forward. So today we're basically going to see, do they have it?
Yeah, that's a good point. I feel like it was initially trying to be something outside of Diablo 3. Like they said, they were taking inspiration from Diablo 2, which at this point, unfortunately, that seems to be complete bullshit. It seems to be Diablo 3.5 is what's going on. But to its credit, I did go back and play Diablo 3 for a little bit, and I was surprised how basic the game felt. So it made me realize that Diablo 4 actually has kind of a lot to do. You can do the Hell Tides, you can do the new dungeon event, the Torment Dungeons thing, you can do you can do pits, you can do some stuff in the world, the bounties, or whatever you call them, the Whisperers. You can do various Ubers, world boss, the other event that I never ever do. What's it called? The Legion thing, which really sucks right now. They need to improve Legion. But there's kind of a lot to do. Whereas Diablo 3, I went on there and I opened up the map. Really all there is to do are the bounties, and what else do you do? The bounties and the rifts is all there really was to do. So I was quite surprised. Where I was a bit relieved, actually, to see how far Diablo 4 has come compared to that. So it feels kind of like Diablo 3, only enhanced. And yeah, fortunately, I think it's going in the right direction now.
Have a chance. Season 5 is pretty intriguing, but there are some big concerns. Look at this quote from Riker. Is Diablo 4 Season 5 in danger? Let's find out. I think it'll be fun. First up, I'm going to talk about what went wrong. So, Rod Ferguson spoke to Windows Central about Vessel of Hatred a little while ago, and he had some decent insights that kind of help us explain why Diablo ended up the way that it was.
It pisses me off a bit how
and I say
early
again
they
because
sold us
both
the expansion.
D3 and D4 launched essentially with borked systems. To
I haven't bought it
TLDR
yet,
what
but I'm
Rod
going
said,
to.
right? They went in the Diablo 2 direction for D4 rather than double down on the Reaper of Souls direction. Now, of course, if you've been playing Diablo 2 Resurrected, that might ring a bit strange for you.
Yeah,
His
exactly.
point basically is,
And that's what we were hoping
big
for.
Grinds, longer gameplay.
Diablo
so
2
very
like
much not the
game.
gigafast chain running greater rifts that you would have been used to in Diablo 3. Now,
But the problem is what they're doing now is it's just like Diablo 3. They said initially that it wasn't going to be a game where the good items are just raining from the sky, you know? And that's what it is now. You do the Hell Tides, it's actually tedious how often you have to go to town to sell your items. It makes me not want to play. Because you get down in there and every 5 minutes or less, you have to go and salvage all your garbage. And in Diablo 2, that was never the case. You would be very, very picky with what you'd pick up. And you could potentially come across a super, super rare item every once in a great while. I'm talking about items that you would find maybe once every 6 months, maybe once every year if you're lucky, maybe never. I've been playing that game for 25 freaking years. And there is a slew of items that I've never found, all right? And that's part of what makes it interesting. In a treasure hunting game, there has to always be treasure to find. And if there's no more treasure to find in a treasure hunting game, the game is over. There's no skill involved in this game. There's 5 buttons on cooldowns. So the chase is actually the endless hunt for goodies, all right? But yeah, unfortunately, if they're just going to hand us all the stuff, then it's just going to be over. So they have to stop listening to the crybabies and actually make a good game with rare items. And not just rare items that make your numbers a little higher, but the rare items have to actually be game-changing, like what they were in Diablo 2, where you'd find runes to make Enigma, and all of a sudden your character could teleport all over the screen. Or you'd find runes to make Infinity, and all of a sudden your mercenary could have a Conviction aura, and like nobody would have that. Unless if they're the ones who bought the shit with real money, which is another problem when you open up trading like what they did. But nonetheless, it should be a spiritual journey. That's the best way to play these games, as far as I see it. But let's see what else he has to say.
Now, I do think there's been a little bit of a benefit there. I do like having a death limit rather than a timer, so I think that's pretty good. But anyway, to say that that team has had a rough few years is an understatement. Like, version 1 of D4 was actually an over-the-shoulder action role-playing game. That would have been completely different. Who knows? Maybe they were trying to take on Babylon's Fall. Anyway, the dev process was super hectic, and the stakes were super high. Blizzard was basically screwed for ages. The team for Diablo 4 was really big and really expensive, and then of course all of the awful PR and an environment where Riot Games were just down the road offering massive amounts of money, some of which would prove to be perhaps a little bit unsustainable.
Yeah, Path of Exile 2 is right around the corner, and I think that's why they
announced a big
Festival
5-year plan, and I suppose as 5-year plans often go, it didn't exactly work out for them. Anyway, overtly D4 is a massive success, the fastest selling Blizzard game ever, and things quickly went wrong, just like they did last time. And you can basically see why. It's all about hypothesis, right? As Rod said, Diablo 2 is a pretty different game, more of a slow grind. But for Blizzard, right, a game has got to be mass market. That means big, high budgets, lots of fidelity. So what they essentially had was a minimum bar of just expense that was super high, and a design hypothesis that essentially was untested. And remember, they did not do any endgame beta tests.
The open world in Diablo 4 might be a massive problem as well, because that differentiates it from the other Diablo games. Diablo 2, for example, it feels very isolated, like the world is alive and like revolving around you, whereas Diablo 4, the open world is quite useless. Who even goes out there? The only reason we go into the open world is to go and fight the world boss, which takes like 10 seconds. Most of that time is getting to him, and he dies in less than 1 second. What else do we use the open world for? It's just nothing. So you don't really have to use it. It's just a complete waste of time. So that's really odd that they went that route, and unfortunately it's a fundamental issue. And I think that was part of the inspiration as to why PoE 2 developers realized that their decision was quite solidified when they saw how it functioned in Diablo 4, because they're not going the open world route. But yeah, I intend to play that game, and I'm looking forward to it. But what do you guys have to say about that? What could they do with the open world in Diablo 4 to make it more interesting?
Testing and the beta testing that did happen was
can they do
late. It
anything to
absolutely
save it?
wasn't good. And if you're wondering why other action RPGs can just hit community feedback faster and actually give you the exact sort of game you want, basically it's because those are games made by fans, directly for fans, and not necessarily for legions of new fans. New fans would be nice, but hey, it's Blizzard money. They've got to try to get Call of Duty people playing Diablo. And we know they think that because there's Lilith running around in Call of Duty. Now, to do a quick dive into the numbers, because I like it when we can be grounded in just some numbers for our discussion.
Is that what's going on here? That really is what's going on here, isn't it? What they're trying to do is, instead of just get that niche tier of players who liked this style of treasure hunting game, what Diablo is, instead of doing that, they decided to mesh all these games together almost. So how they did that with Diablo is they made everything more accessible. They just give you the shit. Like in Call of Duty. They just give you the loadouts. They rain the items on your character. You just button mash and button mash and button mash. And so then they can just have an endless cycle of, you're going to play Diablo. And then in a month, when you get bored of it, you're going to play Call of Duty. And then in a month, when you get bored of it, you're going to play Overwatch maybe. But then you're going to just keep cycling back. I wonder if that's what they're doing. Are they really just meshing all these games together, just making them complete shit? Like they've abandoned the whole niche idea where rather they'd be like, no, let's appease and cater to this audience who wants a treasure hunting game that has super rare items with super rare effects and potentially an endless grind. And then at least we can be like dominant in that realm. But instead, are they really just trying to mesh these games together? Are you kidding me? I never thought of that before. I mean, maybe that's what's going on. Because then they can get the audience retention, because then ideally, those players will never stray to another game developer. They're always just going to be on the little Blizzard app thing that we have on our computers. What do you call that thing? The interface? And they'll just like never leave that. Is like ideally what they want. That is weird. Wow.
discussion. Okay, here's Steam for Diablo 4. 20,000 reviews all time, 2.5k recent. All-time reviews are 71% positive, while recents are 77. So you can see that that is increasing a bit. Now, Steam is obviously not the core Diablo audience. At launch, 10 million people were playing between console
I've actually enjoyed
and
Season 4 to an extent. I think
and
Season
since
5
then,
is going
both
to be an
Steam and
extension
Game
of that
Pass have
with
had, which
added things.
probably
So I'm
have
looking forward to
increased
Season
the
5.
player counts pretty substantially. Now, for actual play numbers, we're limited to
Part of the
just
trick, I
Steam,
think,
and
is
then
not
seeing what
looking at
rankings are
guides
over
in
an
a game like
Xbox.
this, where
So
there's no
here's the
skill
Steam
involved.
chart
If you
since
look at the
November
guides, you're just going to let the game
2023.
play
You
for
can see
itself,
that it
basically.
opened to about a 10k daily peak.
Because you don't have to learn any skill. If you look at a guide in a game like Call of Duty or something, at least then there's still skill to be attained. You know what I mean? Like your precision, your accuracy, and that's the ascension factor. But in a game like this, if you look at a guide, it's like the new way of typing in cheat codes. Like in Sonic the Hedgehog, where you're supersonic, you're just flying all over the damn screen, you're invincible, you can't even fall anymore. That's what it's like. Because there's no skill. There's no ascension factor when it comes to skill. The ascension factor is the endless hunt for gear. And if you find all the gear, the ascension is over. And if the ascension is over, you're frozen. You know what I mean? That's the problem. So that's why they have to keep giving us more and more gear of endless tiers of rarity in a game like this. Unless if they change it fundamentally, which I don't think they're going to do. Like if they give us an unlimited non-cooldown based dodge and maybe some roll effects and all that, because then at least there'll be an ascension factor when it comes to skill, but there is none of that. Our dodge itself is on a cooldown, and basically all the other skills we use are on cooldowns as well, so there's no skill. You know, this isn't going to be a hybrid of these things like what Path of Exile 2 is going to be, with their unlimited roll. But what do you guys think about that? I mean, I think it's broken down
did not have big
pretty
staying
accurate.
power. Season 2 was a little bit of a miss, most people thought. Season 4 is a massive spike. Pretty much had the game going up to around 29k and then hovering at a strong number, and then it surged. On June 9th, there was a spike that set it to an all-time record of 39k players, and that rapidly dwindled to 11.5k. But there is a reason there. You can basically see their anniversary event, the free weekend, and of course the Xbox showcase just getting more buzz and eyeballs. And I do think that with the XP bonus, people get excited. You probably pull forward a lot of playtime from the future into right now because people know they can play more efficiently.
The XP bonuses are
right now.
really dumb. For one, it's already super easy to get to 100. That's part of what the allure was with Diablo 2 is you could never really get to 99 unless if you no-lifed the freaking game. So it was actually a tier of achievement to see somebody who was level 97, 98, 99. The highest I've ever gotten in Diablo 2 is probably 92, 93. So that, and it wasn't a crazy power creep from 92 to 99. It wasn't much of a power creep at all. It was just prestigious. And they just decided to completely take that away because just the babies whined. The babies were like, well, I want to be 100 and I don't want to have to play that much. So they just let everybody be 100. You know what I mean? So they just totally took away that achievement factor and they just gave everybody a damn trophy. So, I mean, yeah, that part is it's really dumb. Why the hell did they do that? God damn, it's not like it meant anything. In terms of power level, it barely meant a thing. But now they're just giving it to everybody.
I think that probably is responsible for both the spike and, of course, the dip. Now, all this means that they are teed up for Vessel of Hatred, but of course, before...
And another thing is, who cares about the cinematics? Don't let them deceive you, all right? The cinematics, they're like trailers for movies, where it makes the movie look cool, has all the music, it's meshing perfectly, they got all the nice beats and the emotional tones right in the right spot, so you're like, whoa, this movie's gonna be amazing, but then you go see the movie and it's complete shit. It doesn't even have the damn song that it had in the trailer, you know what I mean? It doesn't have the piano effects, the opera, the transition, it doesn't have any of that. So who cares about these trailers? Oh yeah, Blizzard makes great trailers, so what? I never watch this shit when I'm playing the game. You know, I watch them once, and that's it. Like with Diablo 2, I probably watched them the first time I played through the damn game. So don't kiss their ass because they make good trailers. You know, I would stop watching the trailers. Who gives a shit about the trailers? We should boycott the damn trailers.
Vessel of Hatred, there's Season 5. Now, the idea for Season 5 actually caught my eye in a way that I think Season 4 didn't for loads of people. Season 4 is interesting because basically it was them acknowledging that some directions were wrong and changing a lot of the fundamentals of the game, doing things like improving the Hell Tides. That was...
Season 4 was a step up. There was more depth in itemization, which was really, really needed. all of a sudden we could temper our items, and there was a risk of bricking the damn item, which is a good thing, because if there's risk, that means there's more reward. There's more of a euphoric high when you get that good roll. If they just gave us infinite fucking tempers, you're just gonna quit the damn game. People don't get it. Everybody wants to have like infinite tempers or something. It's bullshit. And then the fact that we could masterwork our gear, that's what brought me back. I didn't intend on playing this game again. But I saw it. I was like, I'm kind of, I got a boo-boo on my arm. It's hard for me to get out and do stuff right now. That's how it was back then. I was like, okay, maybe I'll sit on my ass, give it a try. I was like, damn, this is great. I guess I'm going to start making videos on this again, because I'm enjoying it. So, I mean, that's kind of the way it went. So, like I said, Season 5 is going to be an extension of that, and I think that's a great thing. I'm worried about, like, the Greater FX designated chest, because they're just handing out the gear with that damn thing. So I think that's a bad idea. They're leveling out the rarity of all these items, which I think is really, really fucking stupid. But hopefully they'll make new uniques with new effects that don't just simply make your numbers a little bigger. And they'll have different tiers of rarity. I mean, that is what's going to cause build variety. If they have a ton of tiers of rarity in items, you're going to have boys who find some item who just got simply lucky, and all of a sudden they can shoot lasers out of their freaking eyes. You know what I mean? It's going to feel like Diablo 2 all over again. But, I mean, I don't know if that's what they're going to do. It doesn't seem like that's what they're going to do, but that's what they should do. So, and that's why I should be an executive on this fucking team. I mean, if you guys think I should be behind this team, head executive or whatever, give me a hell yeah in the comments below. All right, I'm not going to ask for much. I'm just going to make it a damn good game.
It's all really good, but of course, what people want is new features, new experiences, something to actually make you want to play rather than less pain when you do play. And that's why when I saw why I quit Season 5 PTR and Diablo 4 Season 5 is in danger from Riker, that I thought, okay, maybe we should talk about this. Now, if you want more content from our team and you want to replace those spoken words with some written words, you can check out Loading Screen. It's available at bellular.games for our supporters. Essentially, it's our introduces this new Horde mode, also is basically setting up the Visceral of Hatred expansion. Obviously, Mephisto helped us out in D4, but, you know, he's a big lord of hell, so it's not like he's really our ally. That being said, I can't believe they killed Lilith. I think she's criminally underused and basically one of their strong, like real unique, just powerful villains. Also, the Book of Enoch is kind of metal, so I was sad to see her go. Let's talk about how the mode works then. So you enter it using an Infernal Compass, and these are earned from doing endgame bosses, Helltides, Nightmare Dungeons, and Whispers.
Yeah, we get it.
There's an auto pin where the game will put
I've seen a lot of this.
Pin on the
auto pin's a great
of your
thing.
Selected quest or task.
Yep, that's going to be nice. It was a pain in the ass opening up the map and not knowing where the hell you go.
For a long time outside of Mythic. So multiple orders of magnitude. I mean, hey, I'll take 1,000x.
It's not nearly rewarding enough. Not by a mile. Rewards need to be increased by an order of magnitude. And hopefully what he means by that is don't just make all the items rain even more, because that actually is less reward. When you're getting everything all the time, all at once, which is how it is right now, there's no variety and the game's over. So you have to have more tiers of rarity and more items added to it. Ideally, if you could do this endlessly, not that they can, but this would be ideal, is to simply add more and more and more and more items with varying tiers of rarity, because that'll allow for more and more builds to thrive. All right, and there's going to be build variety, build diversity, and all that. So that's what they need.
The rewards, but I do get the point here.
Similarly to how it is in Diablo 2, only more.
Both D3 and D4 saw that increasing the pace, or at least increasing or improving the signal-to-noise ratio of rewards, really did help.
I just can't fucking believe it that they think these devs or whoever the hell's making this game, that if they just give everybody all the shit, it must just be that they're trying to make the cycle that we were talking about a minute ago, where they just want you to go from Diablo to Call of Duty to Overwatch, because if they just give you all the shit, it's over in like 2 weeks. So that's the problem here, is that's what they're committing to. It's no wonder they're just letting it rain the gear. The Uber Uniques are no longer rare, and I don't know. I'm optimistic that they're not going to entirely go in this direction, but that's my concern. All right, is that must be why they're doing it. Because they just want the shit to keep raining from the sky. Everybody gets it all at once. And then in 2 weeks, they go and play Call of Duty.
is that failure equals no rewards, and all the Aether that you will have got would just disappear. Now, that can happen.
But nonetheless, I gotta end this video. It's almost 20 minutes long. I gotta get out of here. I'm gonna link it in the description if you guys want to watch the rest of this thing. I mean, I think it was pretty interesting so far, so maybe I'll watch it later. But if you will, like the video, subscribe to the page, hit the bell so you're notified next time I post a video, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace be with you.